What did you know about your mother?
Hey everybody, it's B Diz the Rockstar, part of SuperObvious. In this video, we're talking about the bio of Maureen Prescott from Scream. Let's go.
What do we do?
Everybody dies.
Maureen was born in 1951 and was the older daughter between her and her sister Kate. She spent her whole life in Woodsboro, except for a secret 2-year time period between 1969 and 1971, when she was between the ages of 18 and 20 years old. As we learned in 3, this secret time was her in Hollywood trying to be an actress, which we will talk about more later. As you know, Maureen Prescott is the mom of Sydney. Sid had been the final girl in the Scream franchise until recently, more specifically during 5, where Sid had minimal screen time and was not in 6, for reasons you should know by now if you're a Scream fan. Maureen was brutally killed by Billy Loomis and Stu Macher, who were the original Ghostface killers in the first movie. Her death was something that happened before the Scream movie started, but is referenced in the first 3 movies, or original trilogy in the franchise. We have Cotton Weary, who was framed for killing Maureen. He was falsely accused because of his resemblance of Billy from afar, and Sid pointed the finger at Cotton and was sure he was the one who killed her mom. Oh, this is also when we are introduced to Gale Weathers. She is a reporter who published a book about the death of Sid's mom, Maureen Prescott. As you know, Gale is all about putting out a book or story and manipulates details on the truth for her personal gain or fame. Overall, Gale is selfish and all about herself. Gale pressures Sid and wants the case of Cotton to be unraveled, not for the truth to be clear, but so it makes her book sales increase. We have Sid, and here's the cheerleaders talking a bunch of shit about her mom and how she was a slut. This combined with what Stu and Billy said in the climax makes it seem like Maureen got around, and that's me saying it in a nice way. That's why Sid punched her in the face in the original in the alley of the police department in the original, and then she bitch slapped Gale again in 2 like she was a bitch that didn't have her money. When Sid and Billy talk at Stu's crib, Sid tries to accept that her mom was someone who was unfaithful and got around. In 2, Cotton was released and not convicted to be the one who killed Maureen. In 3, Sid has nightmares of seeing her mom like she is developing or has PTSD and lives in the middle of freaking nowhere for her safety. But when her location seems exposed by Ghostface, she goes to where all of the other characters are so she is more safe and not alone. We also have her on set at her house in the Stab movies, where she has this episode of hearing and seeing her dead mom. Again. But after the cops search the area, nobody is there, hinting again that Sid could be losing her shit. In 3, we get more details on how Maureen's life was. She was trying to work her way into Hollywood and went by the name Rena Reynolds. Back in the day, actresses basically went to these parties where they had to do whatever they had to do to get roles in movies that could start their careers or take their reputation to the next level. It seemed really messed up. The horror producer, John Milton, was the host of these parties, where Maureen was abused by several men. During this, she got pregnant and had Roman. She gave him up for adoption, not because she hated him, but because he would be a constant reminder of how he was born and what happened to her. Even after Gale and Jennifer confront Milton about Rena Reynolds, Milton shows pretty much no remorse and flips it like it's something Maureen wanted. How Maureen was abused in these parties seemed like it messed her up, changed her, her family, and so many others after. She was in a few movies and plays during her attempts in Hollywood. In all films, Milton was the producer. After Maureen tried to expose the people who abused her, she was pretty much blacklisted from Hollywood, and none of the men that abused her got charged with anything. Maureen moved back to Woodsboro, where she met Neil Prescott when she was 21. They got their house on 34 Elm Street and had Sydney when she was almost 29. Maureen never told anyone about what happened to her in Hollywood, not even her family. Alright, so during the climax of 3, we learn that Ghostface is Roman, who was the director of the Stab 3 movie being made. And, as you guys know, he is the only Ghostface in a Scream movie to do all the attacks and killings on his own, which is impressive. When he explains his motive to Sid, he explains that he is her half-brother and Maureen is also his mom. He also explains that he is the one that basically trained Billy and Stu to kill Maureen and start the Woodsboro murders. And why did he do this? Because Mommy went on with her life and didn't want him. So Roman explaining all this, he's sounding like a whole bitch. He also shows Sid footage of Maureen sleeping with Cotton, also her sleeping with Billy's father, so Maureen did get around. When Maureen rejected Roman, he began stalking her, which is how he was able to record this footage. When Roman tells Billy about Maureen sleeping with his dad, that's actually Billy's motivation for killing her with Stu, which Billy explains during the finale of the original. They killed Maureen and staged the scene like she was assaulted and framed Cotton when he was seduced by Maureen and drunk, which he did get arrested and go to prison for. All of Woodsboro and Sid accused Cotton of the crime, but Gale Weathers was the only one that thought he was innocent, and that's a huge part of the reason Gale and Sid clashed in the earlier Scream movies. Sid being shown the footage and all the stuff Roman said, Sid seems to be having a harder time than ever trying to keep the idea that Sid had a quote-unquote perfect family, and all the rumors she heard around Woodsboro weren't true. Sid also has to deal that she has had several quote-unquote friends that were ghost faces killing others and trying to kill her. Her trust issues, understandably, must be a nightmare that she can never recover from. Roman does have one of the funniest moments in the whole franchise, and that's when he pops back up when we think he's dead, and he is screaming, charging at Sid, Dewey, and Gale with a knife, and keeps getting shot while wearing the bulletproof vest until Dewey shoots him in the head, killing him. It's kind of crazy because even though Maureen was killed before the first Scream, it's like her murder in some way kind of has something to do with many of the Ghostface killers in the first 4 movies. But yeah, I know I went over so much, but there is a lot that goes into the bio of Maureen Prescott. Let me know in the comments what you thought about her bio and how what happened to her actually affected so many people. Her story is actually really sad and messed up. Like and share the video, subscribe to support the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Totally for sure.